Hello, everyone. Welcome to another live mini-marathon. 'Tis I, Captain Logan. And joining me this evening is the magnanimous Austin, the Day Ghost.
Let's get this done, guys.
And also Spider Dan Torrey.
Hey, everybody. How you doing?
Thanks for joining us, Dan. At the last minute, I was like, wait a minute, we're doing a crazy, silly Spider-Man thing. We've got to get Dan if he's available. So thanks a bunch for joining us.
Yeah, no, thanks for inviting me, guys. It's always good to be here, and yeah, we're gonna have a lot of fun tonight, I think.
Tonight we're going to watch a notoriously, apparently hilarious series. Austin has chosen the episodes because he is familiar with the show, and I am not. We're going to watch these blind. None of us have prepared for this, but I've actually never seen a full episode of this show at all, so I'm going to be getting all of this brand spanking new to me. I have owned the, what is that? What is it?
That's my heater, sorry.
Can you make it stop? Is Dan's apartment taking off?
I think it's gonna explode.
I love how, for a second, I really thought you were just gonna be like, yeah, if you want me on, you're gonna have to live with that noise.
Dan's just gonna have to go cold.
Oh, he's muted himself, I think. I think we are gonna have to live with this. Oh no. How long is it gonna do? Is it gonna sound like a helicopter, Dan? Is he typing to us? What is happening right now?
Dan, blink for every second it's gonna take of doing that.
Oh, it'll be okay in a minute. Okay, thanks, Dan. Everybody can see that. You might as well have just like unmuted yourself for the 3 seconds it would have taken you to say that. Anyway, so I have owned this series for 3 or 4 years now, but I've never actually taken the discs out and looked at it. This is an expensive set that is difficult to get your hands on. Austin, did you get it back in the day, like when it came out when you were a kid or something?
No, I got it maybe like 6 years ago now. I found it at just like a store for $60, and I was like, oh, cool. And
which is a good price for that. I think sometimes I think generally it goes online for anywhere between 80 and 100.
Yeah, every time I've looked at it since, just because people tell me it's really expensive, it's always over 100. So I really lucked out that I got it when I did.
I don't want to make you feel bad, but I actually got mine for an even better price than that. I got really lucky with it. Eric was working at Vintage Stock at the time, and he was always really cool when stuff would come in that he knew I was going to want. He would send me a message or call me and be like, get here and get this before somebody else gets it. And I've got a few kind of rarer or weird or unusual things in my collection I got that way. And I got mine, and actually with Eric's discount I probably paid less than this, but I got mine for $38! Which I was just...
That's about a Canadian 60, it's okay.
I was super excited about it. And I didn't realize just how rare that was. And he was like, the show is rare, you need to get it. And I was like, really? It's hard to get? And then I looked it up, and I was like, I got in my car right away. But anyway, so Austin picked the episodes. And Austin, are we watching all first season episodes?
I think mostly, if not all, first season. I can't remember. When I was looking through the episodes, I realized that I'm more familiar with Season 1. I know quite a bit from Season 2, but Season 2 also gets, like, really weird. That's where you have, like, sky pirates and, like, mole men and stuff in, like, every episode.
Well, I know
Which is funny because Season 2 starts with his origin.
Yeah, I know that to cut costs, they stopped using comic villains entirely or almost entirely, and they started using stock footage from another show.
Rocket Robin Hood.
And apparently only 2 episodes of that show. They just kept recycling footage from 2 episodes.
Yeah, because when I was a kid, my dad and I would watch this at his apartment whenever I visited him. And it was always on a block where it would be like an episode of this and then an episode of Rocket Robin Hood. And as a kid, it was like, you know, I'm more willing to give the kind of animation stuff with this show because it's Spider-Man. While I'm like, Rocket Robin Hood, I don't want to watch that.
And then you basically were anyway.
Yeah, exactly.
As a kid, you're probably like, oh, Rocket Robin Hood ripped off Spider-Man. God.
Yeah, exactly.
So Dan, have you only seen like clips and memes from the show, or have you actually watched some of these episodes?
I have watched through all of this show once.
Oh, really?
Yeah. So my first exposure to the show was when I was a kid. I had the few sort of like special 90s Spider-Man VHS tapes that they would put out whenever one of the Raimi movies came out. Like the first one, they did Spider-Man versus Green Goblin one. The second movie, they did Spider-Man versus Dr. Octopus one. And then in between, they did like a Spider-Man versus Daredevil one when the Daredevil movie came out. And then there was a Spider-Man Venom Saga one. And at the end of all those VHS tapes, there were episodes of this show after the credits of the last episode.
I have heard this, yeah, but I never had those because I had a bootleg copy real early of all of the 90s show on DVD, so I never needed to get those.
Yeah. Well, we didn't have a DVD player for a long time. When I was a kid, we just had VHSs. So that was like how I first experienced it. And then when we finally got a DVD player, at one of the video stores in the town that I grew up in when I was a kid had the DVD box set, and I rented it and watched through all of it. But it's been a long time. I've always loved this show because I think it's really funny. But yeah, I have not seen many of these episodes in many, many years. So it's going to be fun.
So all of the episodes that we're watching tonight, you can watch on Daily Motion, and we have and thank goodness somebody put them up there, because there was nowhere else really on the internet to watch this, and I kind of thought we were going to have to cancel the show, because originally I thought this was on Disney Plus, and it isn't, and Austin was talking about the DVDs, and I was like, wait a minute, is that the only way to watch it? Because they're rare and expensive, and nobody is going to be able to watch the show in this, and he was like, I'll go find it somewhere, and he did, luckily. So we're going to watch them in the order that we've got them listed in the description and on social media on YouTube. So just go to that list and click the links as we go through each of these. And Austin, would you talk for just a second about the way the show was laid out? Because we have a lot more episodes than it would look like we had time for if they were 20 minutes apiece, but they're not.
Yeah, so it's kind of like that early Marvel thing where some episodes are split in half and other ones are full length. Like, cause you used to have the old issues where they would exactly like split it in half, and then they'd do like the full book magazines. So that they kind of translate that into this show. And in terms of picking stuff, there's 3 different types of episodes I think with this show. There's just straight up Stan Lee Ditko adaptations. There's original plots with those villains, and then just completely original stuff. So I kind of took a mix from each, like all 3 of those.
Cool. And what are we starting with, sir?
The first one, I believe, is the lizard episode, Where Crawls the Lizard, which is the second episode. It's like part 1 of episode 2.
Which is funny because it sounds like I don't know. Some of these episode titles seem like Star Trek Discovery titles to me, where they're trying really hard to sound like original series episode titles, but it's just like a tad sillier even than what some of the titles were in the comics. Like Where Crawls the Lizard? It's like we have to make it sound sort of Shakespearean and inverse some word order, and then you get a Stan Lee comic book title.
And this one is just like a straight up adaptation of the first appearance of the Lizard.
Ooh, I like that.
But probably sillier.
Yes.
Oh, of course.
Just by putting it in this animation style. All right, well, is everybody ready to do it? We're going to go ahead and start watching these, and we'll let you know when to press play. So click on the first link, and it's Where Crawls the Lizard. We've got all of the episode titles listed out there. Thanks to Austin for organizing that for me. Get it to timestamp 0 on Daily Motion. Get ready to press play when I say now. Here we go. Dan, are you ready, sir?
I am ready.
Austin, are you ready?
Oh yeah, born ready.
All right, here we go. Everybody, please press play right now.
We're gonna get to hear this theme a lot.
I like that.
Yeah,
and of course, this is the one thing everyone knows about this show.
Yeah.
When Homecoming did an orchestrated version of this theme at the beginning during like the credits, or like the Marvel Studios logo, I lost my mind. I was like, that's the coolest thing ever.
Yeah.
it's just really sad that they never did anything else with it, because they were using it for, if memory serves, they were using it for some of the advertising for Far From Home, and then it didn't show up in that movie at all. And I thought they'd go even further tilt with it. I thought Giacchino, he was scoring those, right? I thought he would, kind of like with Star Trek, with the original series theme, start to like, you know, wend it into the scores, and they never did that.
They went with the theme instead across the 3 movies, where it's like bum 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 bum.
Yeah,
bum,
but they could have done both.
I think so,
because the Star Trek movies also had their own theme.
Yeah.
At the very least, they should have brought that theme back, I think.
I agree.
Meanwhile, in the swamp.
In the very yellow swamp.
I'm going to read Tom's super chat real quick. Tom put in a super chat and says, meanwhile, at the Hall of Justice, oops, wrong superhero show from the 60s. That was actually mostly a 70s show, I think. But maybe it started in 68 or 69. But I thought that was like early 70s. He's talking about Super Friends. But anyway, at some point I want to do a Super Friends marathon. For the same reason. Look at his face! He also, like Amazing, has no snout!
The thing that I love in this show is that the music never matches, like, the tone of what's happening. Like, the lizard is, like, almost killing these people, and it's like... Ba-da, ba-ba-da.
It's wonderfully bombastic, though. I think I think you need that to juxtapose how incredibly simplistic the animation is, so that it feels more epic somehow.
Yeah.
It's really funny with the show, with both Lizard and Vulture, they're always referred to as Lizard Man and Vulture Man. You can tell with the show, there was just certain things that we kind of hadn't figured out yet.
It's funny, too, that Spider-Man doesn't use his signature hand pose to shoot away.
It changes constantly.
Yeah.
I think we just witnessed the main reason that McFarlane invented the complicated webbing that he started drawing. Like, that has to drive him crazy to just see, like, a singular string come out of his wrist.
Scoops Nation.
Wow, what is that face?
That was amazing.
I'm imagining...
He just, like, looks at Betty and he's like...
I'm imagining other properties that would be fun to go back and do in this style. Like, all I can see with Peter Parker right now is Back to the Future.
Forget X-Men 97. This is the show that needs to come back.
Absolutely.
I love that Spider-Man's suit in this, because it would be more difficult to animate the entire webs on his chest. He only has it on his face, his gloves, and his boots.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, because when you do close-ups of his hands, they can be really detailed because they're barely moving.
Exactly,
I bet they saved 10 grand doing that. Wow, that was a really nice transition. With a lizard face inside profile going into Spider-Man's face inside profile.
Yeah, this is a very simplified version of the first appearance story. Like, Jameson doesn't even, like, come with him to Florida. There's none of that.
Oh, yeah, that's true.
Goes there.
I haven't read that since you and I reviewed it years ago.
I love the early Spider-Man stuff, so I'm a weirdo about that.
Well, I've been reading it recently, too, and yeah, it is a very simplified version of that issue. You got, like, the specific story beats and kind of nothing in between.
See, like, when he shot his webs there, he was just like, hey.
But it has that thing that a lot of cartoons from this era had, I think, where you'll do like a close-up shot of something where there's hardly anything moving. So that's really detailed. Like, there were so many more lines on his hands. Like, Spider-Man's face is just... Spider-Man's face is just not how... Oh, look, it's a picture of Ronald Reagan. Spider-Man's face, that's not how people's heads are shaped.
This is Dr. Reagan. Well, I'm now a lizard.
well, Nancy, now I'm a lizard.
At least they're incorporating the family plot with the lizard in this. I do appreciate that.
Yeah, that is nice. Ah!
We've already seen more of the lizard's family than the Amazing Spider-Man film.
I was just about to say that.
Even in the deleted scenes.
Yeah. I do like the first Amazing Spider-Man film quite a bit, but...
We would not be complaining about the lack of family stuff if any of that was put back in, but it still wouldn't have been enough.
Yeah.
No, that's what's interesting about the lizard.
The sound effects are great.
Yeah, it's just a drum beat.
See, I...
Oh, the soft focus is nice, though. They went that far. That's cool.
I watched this cartoon after, like, watching a lot of Scooby-Doo Where Are You episodes, like the original 60s show, which I loved as a kid.
Yeah.
So this kind of stuff, like, wasn't really that out of place to me, like the goofy sound effects and the bad animation, you know?
That was just cartoons.
Well, there's just kind of a charm to it, I think. Yeah.
Yeah, no matter how ostensibly serious a show was supposed to be, they were all going to have those kinds of sound effects. Everything had that. Johnny Quest had that, Space Ghost had that, everything had that. There is a Hanna-Barbera quality to this show.
There is. Is this Filmation? Yes?
It's not Filmation. Who
I'm
did
not
make
sure.
this? Because, yeah, Filmation was even a step above this as far as detail of shots go, of character models and stuff. Not necessarily in, frames per second and how much actual animation there is.
That's one of my favorite lizard bits in this episode.
Grant Schrey Lawrence animation for the first season, and then 2 and 3 was Grant's Films. They moved it, and the animation was done here, and the voice over work was done in Canada.
Oh, okay, interesting.
The lizard just rocks up with a grenade.
Yeah, I was wondering how he exploded everything, because it's like there's all these chemicals and things around, and he's just using a bomb? Okay.
Yeah, he's using his famous lizard grenade.
He looks like an alien.
Is the lizard one of you guys' favorite Spider-Man villains?
No, but I don't dislike the lizard.
Yeah, I'm in the same boat.
I like the lizard. I've always thought he was really cool. He's not one of my absolute favorites. Like, he's obviously not like Green Goblin tier, but I have always quite liked the lizard.
He reminds me a bit of Mr. Freeze, where I think you can do like a really cool like first lizard story, and then after that, I don't really need him to come back.
What else do you do with him? Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Well, and I always compared him to Kirk Langstrom with Batman and Man-Bat, and my exposure to both of those characters was the 90s animated series respectively, and I liked the lizard fine in that show, but the Man-Bat episode is one of the best episodes of that show, so I always liked him a little bit more.
Yeah.
As a kid.
I've always thought that if you were to do, like, not obviously with whatever the continuity is now, they probably wouldn't do this, but to do a Kraven's Last Hunt movie adaptation where you replace Vermin with the lizard, and have them as like the two villains in a Spider-Man movie, I feel like that'd be pretty cool.
Look at his eyes. What is happening with his face? That's just what he looks like when he eats things he doesn't like. Like, the lizard really not into tuna sandwiches. If you give him one, he's just like...
That's another big thing with this is Kirk Connors has 2 arms. They completely removed that aspect of it. And I think it's the only time we've ever done that.
So why did he turn himself into a lizard in this? Was it just an accident?
It was to cure an illness instead of to go back. Yeah.
I'm not getting subtitles with Daily Motion, so I don't actually know what's happening. Well, at least show us what the pictures look like so we can see how wrong you are.
Well, then they'd have to draw them.
Oh, can't have that.
I love Peter's smug look. That's so great.
Yeah, and they're clearly looking at George Reeves' Superman
Absolutely, yeah.
with that.
All right.
Okay, well, I guess that's one down.
Da-na-na-na-na.
Dan, Rainbow Nightmare has a question for you. He says, who would you have cast for MCU Green Goblin before No Way Home was announced?
I'm not really good at fan casting with that kind of thing.
I'm not either, but it being Green Goblin, I thought maybe you had an idea.
Let me think. I'll think about it as we go through these, and maybe I'll answer later if I can think of something.
Are we going to get a Green Goblin episode with the show?
That's not one of the ones I picked, but Green Goblin's very weird in this show.
Yeah.
Because he's a wizard. I was very, I was 50-50 on one of the episodes here and the Green Goblin episode. Because one of the ones I picked wasn't available, which is the one where Electro, Vulture, and Green Goblin team up. But after that, I almost picked the first Green Goblin episode, and then picked a different one instead.
Isn't Doctor Doom in the show? Or am I wrong about that?
I think he is. Yeah.
I'm not sure if he is. I haven't seen him.
Because I've
Imagine
seen
if they
that
did
notorious Fantastic Four episode with him, but I thought he crossed into this, but maybe not.
Imagine if they did an adaptation of his evil apartments that issue we reviewed, Kath.
Yep. I would love that. That's kind of what I was hoping you'd say is, oh yeah, they did that craziness.
There is an episode with a villain named Dr. Magneto, which is really weird because it's spelled like Magneto, but he's just like Einstein with a little gun that has a magnet on it.
Next episode that Austin picked is Electro, the human lightning bolt.
Yeah, which is the second part of that lizard episode.
So everybody get it rigged up, and again, just click the link in the description with that title, and get ready to press play when I say now. Get it timestamp 0. We'll give everybody just a second here. Dan, are you ready?
Electro is one of the villains they go back to a lot in this.
I am ready.
Yeah, I remember seeing that design a lot, just in memes and things.
The Electro episode was on, I forget which one, but it was definitely on one of the VHS episodes I had as a kid. I think it was the first episode where he showed up, where he's in a power plant and him and Spider-Man fight there. I don't know if this is the episode or not, but
I think so, yeah.
Does he hate the woods?
Possibly, but they don't go into it.
Because he has that whole weird line in No Way Home where he's like, are you talking about the dimension or the woods? I hate the woods!
We hate those woods, folks.
That was a choice. All right, here we go. Everybody ready?
Yeah.
Get ready to press play when I say now, and I'm just about to. Everybody, please press play right now. I bet I can guess what we're about to hear. Oh, we're gonna get like a setup thing before the actual intro. He's swinging around the rain.
That looks like Ditko art. That
It
shot
does.
is on the side there.
Yeah, his head looked totally different in that shot.
Yeah. They do take some of the comic stuff and integrate it. They did that with the other the Marvel Superheroes animated show that they had, where it was Cap, Thor, Namor, and Iron Man. They did a rotating cast of whoever the star of the episode was, and they would take Kirby art, do the same thing.
But I thought those they literally just
than those were.
I thought those they just literally ripped the panels out and then just made the mouths move. That wasn't that, I don't think.
Yeah. It's more than that here. Spider-Man!
Yeah, I love Electro's voice in this show.
It was cool the way he ripped through the drywall, though. That's a little more detailed than I would have expected. Trying to give it what I can give it, man. Did we just cut the... Oh, no, there wouldn't be an intro because this is the second part of an episode. That's what I was confused about.
It'll play the theme at the end because it's the second part.
And, of course, that's a model that we kind of got away from for a while, and then Cartoon Network brought back for a lot of their original programming in the mid-90s. So, like, most Powerpuff Girls episodes and Dexter's Laboratory episodes, and, like, How and Chicken was that way. Like, a lot of those, you'd get 2 or 3 cartoons in a 22-minute block.
What do you guys think of the voice actor who plays Spider-Man in the show?
I actually like him quite a bit.
Me too.
Yeah. I like that he has a very distinct difference between his Spider-Man voice and Peter Parker, too.
I agree. And again, to Cap's point about them looking at Superman, like, I think that is...
They're looking at the radio show specifically with that.
Yeah.
But I think he does a pretty good job with the kind of, like, sly Spider-Man quips.
I agree.
Well, I haven't gotten to listen to it real well because we're talking over it, but so far it just sounds too old to me.
And that's definitely fair, too.
He sounds like he's my age, but he just got out of high school. Because he's supposed to be in college already in this, right?
Undetermined. I don't think they do anything like that until season 2 with Ralph Bakshi. And then that's when they bring in the kind of high school cast.
Oh, okay. Okay.
Even Aunt May barely shows up in this first season.
It's like the MCU Spider-Man films.
Rubbing that desk was supposed to tell us that he's got some pretty heavy things on his mind.
That animation of Electro jumping over the web was really funny. I love the way Electro, like, uses his powers. He's just, like, one finger daintily.
And especially when he does the, like...
Yeah.
Oh, he's using spider tracers.
You're a born loser!
Yeah, I love that, because he throws the spider tracer, and he's like, Spider-Man, throwing rocks!
Is that what he said?
Yeah.
You think this is just a bug or something? Spider-Man couldn't make it a little bit more...
Threw at me.
He couldn't make it a little more inconspicuous than that and not have it land on his shoulder?
This guy's performance is the best thing ever.
It's really
the
good.
Voice actor,
Yeah, if there's anything this guy is not, it's a born loser!
Well, he would have been really embarrassed, Dan, if he'd kicked that door and it was just locked and he couldn't get through it. Like...
I think it's funny, too, in this show, like, Spider-Man is always stopping a robbery at this jewelry store. It happens in the intro. It happens in this episode.
I was going to say, that looks familiar.
Yeah.
It's sort of like how in the Lone Ranger, the bad guys were always in the exact same shack that had a trap door in the exact same place on the floor.
Yeah. This show has that kind of thing that the Ditko Spider-Man has, where he can, like, spin webs into, like, random things, like web parachutes, and, in that case, like, web bulletproof walls.
Yeah, later on he'll, like, make a web Captain America shield, basically. But it makes so much sense that in a cartoon... especially where you can get away with being, you know, a little bit sillier and more heightened, you'd have a lot of that because he's competing. All the other superhero things he's competing with are characters with gadgets, really. Or at least a lot of them.
Well, that was the cool thing with MCU Spider-Man, was they gave a reason for why he would have different types of webbing that would shoot out.
Yeah.
Son Gassman says that Spider-Man DVD set is long out of print. Yeah, this is from 2004 and was never put back in print.
That's unfortunate.
I'm digging this jazzy score.
Yeah, the music in the show is generally good. Like, when it's theme appropriate and Or if you just listen to it by itself, it's really good.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, there's only like 3 tracks, but it's pretty good.
Yeah.
I was going to
That's
say,
Gorilla
Austin, it is
background.
earwormy enough that I'm worried that if I watch too much of the show at once, it's going to get stuck in my head and then I'll come to hate it. Because I have that with Star Trek The Animated Series, which started only, 6 years after this. And it does the same thing where it's, like, the music is fine, but it's only got about 2.5 minutes of music total, and they just recycle it constantly.
Mm-hmm. I don't know, this is one of those shows I can watch just over and over,
Are you
so
looking
like,
at
I
the
don't have
camera?
that, but I can understand it.
Well, and it might just be that show specifically.
Mm-hmm.
What was that?
Oh, that time he's using both fingers. It's getting serious now. Conveniently placed box of fireworks.
This looks like a roller coaster at the theme park I used to work at when I was in college. One of those old wooden ones.
Yeah, I think my problem with his voice when he's in his Spider-Man suit is that it almost sounds like he's trying to do a Superman. Because it's so, like, announcer voicey. It's like, thanks for lighting the way, Electro!
Yeah.
Like, I don't know, that's not what that's not what Spider-Man sounds like in my head.
This isn't my idea of fun.
Yeah, like, he's sarcastic, and that's good. Daniel
that is
Davis
one
really
thing
letting
the
that
show
Canadian
destroyed.
accent out. Yeah, it's just like Smallville.
I agree, Austin. Like, even though the show like is generally like poorly written in general, like they do get Spider-Man's personality right.
Yeah.
That's a
That is an unfortunate pose.
That's one of my favorite Electro lines too. Is first I will destroy all of your reflections, then you.
He's just going like this.
So what exactly is the web doing to him? Because they're animating his electricity around him as if somehow the web stopped him from using his power. I don't know what's happening there.
I think because he like made rubberized webbing, but like it's not like it's completely encapsulating him. Like there is holes in it.
Boy, the inconsistency in the detail of like buildings and things is really weird. There's some shots where it looks pretty complex, and then other shots there's just nothing in the background.
It's a lot of like just yellow.
Yeah. I mean, to be fair, it's like blank walls in an office building, but...
Never mind.
The package! I like to think that every time J. Jonah Jameson leaves a room, no matter what mood he's in, he always slams a door.
Well, that's
Yeah.
a running joke. Is he slams the door and it like tilts the painting.
Yeah. That he
That's
has of himself in
another
his own
episode.
office.
I love that painting. It's amazing.
No, Jameson's a lot of fun in this show.
I will be right back in one moment.
Yeah. No
Okay,
worries.
cool. Oh, Statue of Liberty.
Yep.
That shot where he comes at the screen is pretty cool, actually.
I think that's in the second part of the first episode where he slides down the Statue of Liberty. I think. But I feel like they do that a few times.
I'm going to argue that they should have used the outro editing for the intro, because I think it all looks a little bit more dynamic and exciting and would make you want to continue watching the show more.
Yeah, well, and I always liked that too, because Scorpion and Mysterio are my two favorite Spider-Man villains, and they show them off in the end credits.
I knew that with you about Scorpion, but I didn't know Mysterio.
Yeah, it's Mysterio and then Scorpion. That's why I picked a Mysterio and a Scorpion episode.
That's so self-indulgent, Austin.
I know.
You also picked one with the Rhino.
Oh, that's because you have to see the Rhino episode. Even when I watched the Captain Logan show, DJ said that. He knows what's up.
I forgot he said that.
This is our first full-length episode.
Oh, I'm excited.
This is another one that's just that first Mysterio issue. It's just like a straight-up adaptation.
Well, guys, we will start right after Dan gets back. We're going to watch The Menace of Mysterio, which, if memory serves, is actually what that story was called in the comic, too, is it not?
It might be. I can't remember.
It's been a few years since we covered
Yeah.
that.
Mysterio was one of those characters, though, because this episode is a direct adaptation of that issue, and so is his first appearance in the 90s show.
Yeah.
That's the character we don't really mess around with.
Welcome back, Dan.
Thank you. Sorry, I had to run to the restroom.
Oh, no
real
problem.
fast.
We're gonna watch the Mysterio episode now, and
Right.
Austin. That was one of my favorite episodes in the '90s show, and I was always impressed with how close they stuck to that original story. And I was surprised by that because so many, arguably every other villain was changed more than that villain was.
Yeah, no, all of the episodes in that first season where we're introducing villains, it's all just, we take that villain, we do a new story with them, except for Mysterio, which is basically just beat for beat that first issue.
I mean, the Lizard is closer than some others, I guess, but...
in a sense, I guess, but because we dropped the whole Florida stuff and whatnot, but
okay,
just
yeah,
in
that's
terms
fair.
of him finding the Lizard, yeah, we just kind of update it.
I guess
But
I just
it is
meant
probably
more in
closer.
that his motivations are intact and the missing arm thing is there and all of that. But yeah, but as far as directly adapting a story, because the Mysterio one isn't even directly adapting, but it's closer than some other things.
Yeah, we take specific set pieces too, like the whole bit with him on the bridge.
Yeah, exactly. But yeah, I'm curious to see how close this gets. I wish I'd had time to go back and look at a couple of the comics that they adapted here, because Dan, I miss page by page, but we haven't done it in 3 or 4 years. And...
I know. Yeah. No, we should get back to that show at some point. It was really fun. But I am a Spider-Man weirdo, and I have read these issues many times, so it's cool to go back and see how a 10-minute cartoon episode condenses those issues.
Well, in this case, we're going to get double the time, so it might not condense it all that much.
Well, yeah, it'll be interesting to see. So.
Yeah, and Cap, you're going to like their design for Quentin Beck.
Ooh, I can't wait.
I forget what Quentin Beck looks like in this.
I'm excited to see why he said that, everybody. Dan, as far as page by page goes, I've been on the fence about whether we should bring that show back the way it was, or if we should cover a few issues at once so that we can, get more of it knocked out. But we should talk about that at some point.
Yeah, I'd be down with doing it in more of a podcasty format, if that's what you want to do. That's fine with me, because I that's kind of how I'd honestly rather do it anyway, but we can talk about it afterwards.
Yeah. Well, it was a fun experiment, and people seem to really like it.
Yeah.
But it was going to take a million years to get through it all.
Yeah, exactly.
Sort of like
when you get
those...
specific issues, like the boxing one, where it's gotta talk about this one, page by page.
Yeah.
Sort of like those podcasts that people do where they'll do a whole movie, but it's each episode they only cover 2 minutes. you know those, but they'll talk a whole hour about 2 minutes. I felt like that's what we were doing.
It was very in depth.
Maybe obnoxiously so. Okay, here we go. Everybody get in timestamp 0. Click on the third link that you'll see there in the description, The Menace of Mysterio. Should be Daily Motion there. Get it timestamp 0. And here we go. Everybody please press play right now.
In color.
Hey, any show in the 60s, in the late 60s, had to make sure that you knew that it was supposed to be in color. And the reason they did that was because a lot of people, just in case people don't know, a lot of people still have black and white TVs. And these shows were advertising that color TVs existed. And that, this program that you might really like watching is intended to be seen in color. And it has a lot of colors and will look cooler if you get a color TV, so go get a color TV to watch it. And the 60s Batman made a huge deal out of that, and that's part of why that show was shot with such bright primary colors. Try to get
See,
people
for
to
me,
get
just as a
color
kid,
TVs.
I always just wished everything opened with in color. I was like, it's just so awesome. And I always loved how the like Spider-Man title did like a dun 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 dun.
Yeah.
So
I
that
do
image,
like the. Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
Sorry, I was just gonna say that image of Spider-Man at the end of the intro, where he's coming at the screen, is arguably kind of iconic. But it's funny because it's about the only place where you ever see Spider-Man with two webs swinging, like two of them. Oh, he's robbing a bank, just like in the comic.
I was gonna say I do like the intro and how it sort of talks about how Spider-Man is a kind of sad sack character who life is constantly crapping on him and he has to kind of deal with it, but he's a hero anyway.
Only reward, yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, thanks, Stone Gasman. We are enjoying watching this with you as well.
Did you guys notice Spider-Man jump on the sky in that shot?
Yeah.
He jumped on the sky?
They reuse that animation a lot, and the last jump is always him just on the background sky. I always laughed at stuff like that, and there's that shot of him swinging where he's doing like that from side profile, and he's above all the buildings.
Yeah.
Man, it really feels like the Raimi movies were looking directly at this show with Jameson specifically.
Yeah. Well, and I think this show gets the 60s, like, Lee, Ditko, and even Ramita Jameson down pretty well.
Yeah. It's actually a little surprising to me that Stan Lee's not voicing him.
Yeah, because he wanted to play Jameson.
That's probably... in fact, I think I know why. It's probably just because the studio was in Canada. That's probably the only reason that he didn't voice that character.
I can't go to Canada.
I remember when I created Canada! Those don't look like the most comfortable pajamas.
No.
I wouldn't want to wear those.
PP.
What'd you say? Oh, you're a little ahead of me. It's funnier to me because of the BP suitcase in Far From Home, but we still don't know for sure if that's Ben Parker or not.
Yeah. That is an iconic shot, too, the one of him just swinging with the one web at the camera. That's directly taken from a Ditko drawing as well.
And clearly, because there's so much more detail in the costume, and you just wish that it could look like that all the time.
Yeah. Spider-Man.
Under arrest, Spider-Man.
Does he have a first name? Is he Paul Spider-Man? Man, he looks like he should be a supervillain in his own right. Look at his eyebrows.
It's the Green Goblin. What?
See the mask on the wall?
Oh, wow. You guys are a couple seconds ahead of me.
Oh,
Why is there a Green Goblin mask there? Yeah, I was talking about that cop.
Mysterio's gloves are green in this instead of yellow.
Yeah.
Well, Mysterio's got more of like a purple hood than just a cape.
But yeah, I can really imagine this Jameson just like in that movie. Wait, what is happening with his face? You can see his audio vertically in his face. I don't understand it, but it's awesome. Like there's a sine wave in his helmet.
Isn't it interesting how they took, like, before we had seen this character in, like, any other media, like, the first time he's ever translated, trying to make the comic book design look like something. Like, adding those weird details, you know? I just think it's interesting.
That is an inspired choice. I don't understand how it works. Spider-Man, you should be embarrassed by walking down buildings like that. He's doing like a crab walk down a building.
That's another bit of animation they use a lot.
But I was just going to say, I could totally see this Jameson. Your wife lost her billfold again. Thanks for the good news! Like,
well, my favorite Jameson quote in the show, I can't even remember what the context is, but he just starts yelling about how much he doesn't like women. And he's like, let me tell you, there should be no women in this world, just children and men.
That's amazing. It looks like all the budget went to the sewer in this episode.
Yeah. That's really well drawn.
And then you just get the shot of the street where there's just nothing.
This running shot reminds me of like when Shaggy would run in Scooby-Doo, Where Are You? He just exited on the other side of the street behind them?
Is this that shield that you were talking about, Austin?
Yeah.
When he makes sort of a makeshift Captain America shield?
Yeah, and he does another one in another episode.
How thick does a web fluid-based shield have to be before it's bulletproof and sounds metallic when things bounce off it?
His foot's stuck.
He's stuck in the railroad tracks, and then naturally a train is gonna come, right? Is this gonna happen?
This is the train scene that should have been in Spider-Man 2.
Oh, it is there.
I agree.
Yeah,
I agree.
Just in the nick of time. His foot's stuck for 5 seconds and a train shows up. It's very convenient.
Hey, it's Spock.
Yep, there he is.
Wait, what? It actually doesn't look like Spock so much as like some random Romulan.
Why is Quentin Beck a Vulcan?
Why is he a Romulan? I'm sorry, I'm getting distracted. People are complaining that we're getting ads in the live stream for some reason, so I'm gonna go try to fix that.
Oh, interesting.
Oh, weird.
Yeah, I usually turn off monetization during the stream so that doesn't happen. And I'm pretty sure I did that with this, but I'll go check.
It's very animated today.
Yeah, monetization's off, guys. There's no reason you should be getting ads. Is some random company monetizing my live stream right now? Like, I'm not monetizing
it. Oh, they
it.
mean they're getting ads on Dailymotion, apparently.
Oh, is that what they're talking about? I haven't gotten any yet. Weird.
Yeah, I haven't had any.
Okay. That's the reason I assumed they were talking about our stream, because I haven't gotten any on Dailymotion. I'm sorry, Dan, I was talking over you.
No, it's okay. I was being advertised something by Shaquille O'Neal earlier, but the video kept playing, so I'm still in sync with you guys.
Oh, that's good.
That's good.
Well, we're doing the best we can, guys, with a show that nobody has access to except for me and Austin.
Telephono camera, guys. It's new tech.
Okay, well, thanks for letting me know that it's 6 o'clock exactly. I'm sure that's going to be a really important plot point. Yeah, see, Dan, it looks like we spent forever on just this image.
Yeah.
Like, a lot of nice detail there. Some good shadow work. I like the kind of, Twilight sky effect.
I love how Spider-Man went from swinging along the harbor to the middle of the city in one shot.
Time passes.
Yeah, now we're on the bridge fight from that issue.
Yeah. Yeah, it's really interesting looking at this finally after all the times I've seen the Mysterio episode from the 90s show.
Yeah, they pretty much didn't do very much at all with Mysterio's backstory in this.
Which is interesting because they changed a lot of pretty much all the villains except Mysterio.
Yeah.
Man, I can't get over the sine wave in the helmet thing. That's so freaking cool. It's neat because now he's gonna try to rope him like he's in a rodeo. It's so cool because they're really playing to their medium, right? Like, if you try to do that in a comic book, it would be hard to really communicate what's happening because you can't make it move.
Yeah.
Sort of like the Rorschach mask idea, where it's like, panel to panel, it keeps changing, but it's hard to imagine it shifting like that. Like, that almost works better if you're shooting it, even though that's supposed to be the unfilmable graphic novel.
I like that Spider-Man line, just not quite, weirdo.
Sorry, I just finally got there. And he's also right in your face when he says it, too. He's like, not quite, weirdo.
And then he does that, really pathetic jump.
Yeah.
Mystical Green Beanie, what's up, Dan? No Way Home is your favorite movie now, right?
That's funny.
He says with a he says with a sarcastic face.
I wish I enjoyed that movie as much as most people seem to. I will say that.
I think Tom's complaining about ads too again when he says, "I don't care about handicapped dogs. I'm trying to watch Spider-Man."
He's falling.
And he can't get up.
I've fallen. When Spider-Man was dropping off that building, why did he have a hand out like this, like he was waiting to catch something? Like
because we're reusing animation.
I like that Mysterio calls him Jameson.
Jameson? It's like when anybody says Xavier. That is a pet peeve of mine. I hate that. Okay, Parker! But sir, I'm Spider-Man. That reveal was amazing. The camera just... I want to see someone try to cosplay this version of Mysterio so bad, where they rig up a helmet to have a sine wave in the middle of it.
Yeah, it'd be awesome.
That's not how that works, Jameson. You can't rip up money and go, here's half of your money. I'll give you the other half later. What you just did is illegal. Was that, unless it wasn't supposed to be money?
No, I think it was.
It's a bill. He just took like $100 bill or whatever, ripped it in half, and said, "Here's half of your money." It's so good. I think that's my favorite scene so far, Austin.
That is pretty great.
Oh, hey, look, they're faking the moon landing.
Oh, well, that's Stanley Kubrick is here.
With a Romulan.
Well, I guess this is one of the few things that they took from the early Mysterio stuff.
Oh, yeah, I forgot that was in there. That set looked really cool.
Yeah, because I think this whole fight scene is going to be in the movie lot, just like it is in that issue.
Yeah. Hey, it's Green Goblin again.
Mysterio also says Spider-Man.
There's
now he said Spider-Man.
Appearances where they fight on a movie set as well.
I like Mysterio's voice a lot. It's great. I'll get you. You're in there somewhere. His signature move is just hands on his hips. His handy-dandy notebook. I mean, pocket tape recorder. I'm going to be really surprised if we see an episode I like more than this. This is great.
It is.
Super Billy, I don't care about refrigerators, Daily Motion.
I just love the image of Spider-Man with a gas mask.
Super Billy also said Beck just aged 50. Oh my god! I wasn't watching before he put on the gas mask. He's trying to be Star-Lord. That was another amazing transition. Just two jerks laughing about the misfortune of the same man. I also really like Mysterio laughing like this, and the only other thing that moves is the eyes on his collar. Like, they also bounce up and down, but, like, the collar's not moving, just the eyes. Oh, I think he should wear that mask for the rest of the series.
Oh, it looks so funny.
And I thought 90s Batman wearing a motorcycle helmet with ears over his ears was goofy. This takes the cake, man.
And then Mysterio has a gas mask dissolving gas that only dissolves the gas mask and not the regular mask.
But not the material in his costume?
That does not obey the laws of physics.
Also, Spider-Man punches Mysterio into a door. Somebody goes, "Hey, what was that?" Another guy goes, "Oh, I think it was a sonic boom."
It wasn't that loud. I think it was something hitting the door over there.
That's right, boys.
Super Billy, this Mysterio doesn't really cast illusions, does he? It's weird. They have Spider-Man look at the camera a lot as if he's breaking the fourth wall. And he's sort of... Because a lot of his one-liners, it's like he's speaking to the audience. But it's that sort of awkward thing where it's like he's pretending like there's an audience, but there happens to actually be an audience.
No, it's kind of just doing that Lee Ditko thing where in his thought bubble it'll be like, "Oh, if you only knew," or whatever, where he's basically talking to the audience when people are like, "Oh, you know, Spider-Man sucks," or whatever.
But does he look off-panel into the eyes of the reader?
No, that's one thing they add.
That's what I'm saying. That's what I call using the old head.
The old head.
That's what he said.
I know, it's just funny.
I'm going to complain about the thing that I always complain about with Mysterio when it's not there. I don't think he's one time said fishbowl head.
Makes more sense here though with it being so early.
Yeah.
As opposed to like Far From Home, but
Yeah.
No, I know. I just always like fishbowl head.
well,
Far From Home, there's no excuse. It should have been there.
should be like Outer Limits head because he's got the like thing in his mask.
I was gonna say there's so much going on in that mask. I could see why you wouldn't think of Fishbowl. Like somebody said, like Cloud Head. Like there's a lot going on in there.
Mm-hmm.
This is one of the like dynamics with Spider-Man as a story I miss from all of the film adaptations after the Raimi ones. I feel like the Raimi films are the only ones that really do a bunch with Spider-Man being perceived as a menace to the public and not being liked by people generally.
Yeah, for sure. One, we completely dropped the Jameson aspect of Spider-Man in the other two series until
for sure.
I guess.
Yeah.
But even that's very different.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, the idea of the public not liking Spider-Man, I feel like they try to replace Jameson in a way in the first Amazing movie with Captain Stacy. That's kind of how they get it in there with that movie.
Yeah.
And then, of course, he's turned around by the end, but...
Yeah.
Because Captain Stacy gets killed by the lizard.
That's right. You're absolutely right about what you said, but just playing devil's advocate, I bet if you asked like Webb about it, he'd say, "Well, we had this one guy who was constantly complaining about Spider-Man and how he's a menace." Like,
Yeah.
we did have that character in there.
I like how they have the when it says story consultants, the nicknames that they were given in the comics, like they said Jazzy John Romita.
I didn't notice that.
That's awesome.
That's neat. Okay, next up, guys, let's watch one more and then take like a 5-minute break. Is that cool?
Yeah, that sounds great.
Okay, we're gonna watch Horn of the Rhino.
If Paul Giamatti isn't the voice of the Rhino in this, we riot.
Okay, well, spoiler alert. Spoiler alert, the man was probably 5 or 10 years old.
But if anything, this Rhino is kind of sillier than Paul Giamatti Rhino.
Paul Giamatti's Rhino is one of the most ridiculous things of all time.
Oh, are we on YouTube with this one?
Yeah, this one's
Yes,
on YouTube.
sir.
Some I could find on YouTube, some on Dailymotion.
Okay, well that's great.
There was one I found on YouTube, and I was like, oh, here we go, and I was about to put it with the rest, and then I listened to it for a second, and it was like a dude talking over it. So like Spider-Man lands, and the guy's like, oh, like action pose.
Before we get into the next one, let me read a couple super chats. Tom, $2 super chat. Spider-Man in Technicolor for your viewing pleasure. I don't know why he said that, but yep. And
that is a common reaction to
thanks for the super chat. And Noah Brody Body $4.99 super chat. My name is from the show. LOL. You guys ever have the 90s VHS tapes where they'd put like 2 episodes from the show on each tape? They're nostalgic. He must have popped in after you were talking about that because Dan was talking earlier about how he had those. Yeah.
And you said it was Noah Body?
Yeah.
Yeah, he was gonna be in one of the in the episode that I couldn't find. He's the one that puts Vulture, Green Goblin, and Electro together. He's an invisible man named Noah Body.
Noah Body.
I can't believe we have a viewer that took his screen name from the show. That's amazing.
No, that's great. I always thought that was really funny as a kid that they had an invisible man named Noah Body.
And that's a wonderfully obscure reference.
Oh, it is, yeah.
Yeah, good job. That's great. Yeah, and he's been watching us for a long time. I had no idea. I had no idea that's where that name came from. Okay, Dan, are you ready?
I am.
Austin, are you ready?
I am the Rhino.
Okay, let's watch. I don't remember him being both Italian and German, but okay.
I am the Rhino.
This is internationally ambiguous. Okay, here we go. Horn of the Rhino. It's on YouTube. It is the, 4th link in our list of links. Get it to timestamp 0. Get ready to press play, and we're just about to start. Here we go. This one is also full length, 20 minutes. So once again, we'll take a little break after this and then get back to it and watch a few more. Here we go. Everybody, please press play right Now. I need an intro like that. It's just
Captain Logan's face just being like.
At the bottom it says in color.
maybe in a couple of weeks I'll do a Captain Logan show like that, where the Captain Logan show logo is just doing this.
Yeah. Well, and then you can just put it in the title. It can be like Captain Logan Show, whatever episode number, in color.
Have you guys seen the YouTube video where somebody, it's this intro, but somebody just took out Spider every time, so the whole intro, it's just man. It's hilarious.
Yeah.
So here comes the man!
Well, and then somebody did that, but they just took out man, so it's just Spider, and then somebody took out both and just kept the space in between, and it was called, but it's just hyphen.
That's awesome.
Oh, look out, Spider-Man's probably on this railroad track trying to get his foot out right now.
Yeah, no kidding.
Oh, yeah.
Man, radioactive man. Stone Gaspin, $2 super chat. Thank you. Ever seen the Spider-Woman animated show from 1979? Only one episode, and during the 24-hour stream I did a couple years ago, somebody requested one of those, and that's the only time I ever saw that.
Cool.
It was weird.
I have never seen it myself, but I hear it's on Disney Plus, isn't it?
It is. That's how we were able to watch it.
Yep.
Yeah.
Oh, here we go.
Here he comes. The image of Spider-Man flying in a minute is one of the funniest things.
Did you guys see the horn glisten right before he hit the train? I love his voice! I'm the Rhino! And then right after he says that, we get the episode title. This is awesome!
It is.
This show is so good! I didn't expect this to be this entertaining. I kind of thought the pacing would be really slow and boring, and you would just get the occasional really bizarre shot, or line or something.
Mm-hmm.
No, this show's awesome.
Yeah. The Rhino in this show is very strange. Like, every plot that he has is really bizarre. Like, the next time he shows up, he's stealing gold so he can make a solid gold Rhino.
For what purpose?
He just has it.
Oh. Is it like how a lot of versions of Catwoman are just obsessed with stealing cat things? And
Possibly, yeah. Well, this Rhino lives in the zoo. That's like another thing.
that was great.
Yeah.
Where he's doing a Jameson impression, and then Jameson is writing the exact headline he's making fun of Jameson for probably writing. That's good. Spider-Man! How do you know what your buttons do? You must just have them all memorized, because they don't have any numbers on them. Oh, there's
He's
Aunt May.
used them so much that they're worn out, but he knows what they are.
It's also interesting that this is so early in Spider-Man's publication history that they're using Betty Brant as the love interest.
Yeah. Yeah, it is.
Well, we've been talking over her so much, I didn't realize she was actually the love interest. That's cool.
Yeah.
You know, this is like a very specific window into this era of Spider-Man.
Yeah.
And it's so early that we haven't figured out a lot of the basics.
Well, yeah, because the comic has only been around for, what, 4 years at this point?
Yep.
Yep.
These things get adapted very quickly, which is the thing that I think a lot of people don't realize. Superman starts in 38, and then you get a radio show very quickly, and you get movies in, the early 40s, and Batman's the same way. Like, the first, Batman starts in 39, and then the first live-action serial is in 43. Like, these things get adapted really quick.
They do. And that was something that Stan Lee was trying to do right from the beginning, like getting these characters adapted into other media. He like very early in the history of Marvel was shopping all of these characters around in Hollywood.
Right.
Yep.
And some of the characters he was obsessed with trying to get made into things didn't seem like the most like dynamic or likely popular, like Ant-Man. Like for decades he was trying to get Ant-Man made. Spider-Man thinks he's Batman in this episode, and it's the best. Oh, I was going to say earlier, they seem overly concerned with Spider-Man not being expressive enough in the mask, even though his eyes move and stuff, because he keeps... In that first scene, he kept doing stuff like this, and like this. He's a Power Ranger. You knew he was going to do that. Danny made this face. So, Austin, does the Rhino just have, like, a weird Rhino kind of fetish in this? Or is he, like, trapped in the costume like he is in the comics? Or...
I don't think we know, but everybody just thinks that he is a Rhino.
Even though he's clearly a man in a Rhino costume.
Yeah, because even Spider-Man shows up and he's like, "Oh my God, he really is a Rhino."
Wait, he's gonna Sonic Spinball this?
Yeah.
Wait, Spider-Man just rolled himself up in a web ball. He turned. I wish we could just pause and talk about this for 5 minutes. I've never ever seen Spider-Man do that. He just turned into a pinball. I can't believe I saw that in the show. That angle was horrifying. Yeah, made with the tea? Here's your tea!
Giant Ant-Man.
Yep.
Let me pitch you a movie, Giant Ant-Man.
That was some unfortunate forced perspective right there.
Giant-sized Spider-Man. Wait till you see giant-sized Ant-Man.
Well, Sony almost made an Ant-Man movie, so we can't joke. We'll jinx ourselves and that'll actually happen.
Yep.
I'm so disappointed that he didn't stay in a ball longer.
I couldn't remember if that was in one of the episodes I picked, and I'm so glad that it is.
I was gonna say, how is that not the best thing you've ever seen in anything?
I feel like a lot of these shots of the military people look like comic book art. Like someone at Marvel drew them.
Yes.
Yeah, I can see that.
And almost
Top
like
secret. We're
almost
gonna
like
print it on the
Golden Age
suitcase.
Marvel.
I also like Stealth Rhino hiding behind Barrel.
Yeah. Sorry, Cap. What were you gonna say?
Oh, it's not important, but with what Austin was saying earlier with Rhino and everybody just talking about him like he is a Rhino, it's like we're just Austin. It's like the live action Tick series from the early 2000s. We're just ignoring the fact that he doesn't have a face mask. It's like he's got an open face. But it's like, oh no,
Yeah.
he's a Rhino.
Yeah, and he just lives in the zoo with the other rhinos, and nobody can tell.
I was gonna say, why does he live? You should probably read the sides of trucks before you run into them.
He's flaming Rhino.
That didn't do anything like as much damage as it should have.
It's a rhinoceros.
And
That
then
was the best voice acting performance ever.
And then the screen was just gray for 3 seconds? This is riveting. Oh, it's on fire. I thought it just exploded without a trace at all, Austin. That was a Scooby-Doo shot.
Oh, it absolutely was.
It just hung in the air like bricks don't, spinning. Robert Cherryman, $5 super chat. Thanks, man. Which 3 animated Spider-Men would you pick for an animated No Way Home?
I guess this 90s and Spectacular. I don't know.
I would throw the MTV one in there just so that 2 of them are 2D animated and 1 of them is 3D animated.
Well,
Yeah,
that one's supposed to be Tobey Maguire. Because that's supposed to be after the first movie.
Which is weird, because Harry's, like, blonde in that and stuff. It's
Yeah.
Like,
And that show gets canceled early, so it ends with him, like, quitting being Spider-Man. And that's just the end.
Spider-Man, no more. Rolls credits.
Yeah, it just ends with he, like, puts his suit in a suitcase and he throws it into the lake and walks away.
That's funny. Yeah, I think I would agree with you, Austin. Those are probably the 3 that I'd pick, too, is the 60s show, the 90s show, and Spectacular.
Yeah, just because of the 3, they're probably my favorite shows.
Yeah, I agree.
And they're the most iconic ones.
Mm-hmm.
They're the
Yeah.
ones people will be most excited to see. But I also like Neil Patrick Harris too much not to say MTV Spider-Man.
He is a
Oh,
good
Neil
Spider-Man.
Patrick Harris is great, yeah.
Oh,
Spider-
Jameson is also guilty of saying Spider-Man. Sorry, Dan.
Yeah. No, it's okay. It's interesting that they made Betty a redhead in the show rather than being a brunette like she is in the comics. It's like, she reminds me of Mary Jane, I guess, in that regard.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, but still with Betty's face. Like, she looks like Betty Brand.
Yeah, she does, and she has the same haircut, too.
Peter, my boy!
His grins! They're so funny. He always looks so smug.
If you
Jameson
learned your
sounds
job
like-
properly.
Just like the biggest creep ever. Like, he definitely needs to be put in prison for something. I don't know what, but he's doing something really, not above board. Very clearly. You wouldn't want that to happen, would ya? It's the voice of a blackmailer for sure. I think Genius Asleep is
That shot is not even
amusing.
fully on the side.
Yeah.
Because usually the sign is genius at work. Why does it matter that the genius, that the person that is asleep is a genius? Like, everybody that's asleep needs sleep.
Jameson's face. What is he doing? Why does he need free?
Why is he in disguise if he's saying he's from the place he works at?
Yeah, exactly. This is awesome.
That fake beard made no sense!
JJJ.
I'm collecting rhinos today. I think the line should have been, I'd like to help, but I don't even understand. Robert Cherryman, $5 super chat again. Thanks, man. Do you hear any animated Spider-Man's voice when you read the comics? I definitely used to have that with 90s Spider-Man. And I think when I go back and read stuff from particular eras, I still have that. If I read anything current, I feel like things have changed so much, I don't really have a particular voice in my head anymore, but...
Mm-hmm. No, I have that too. It just kind of depends on what I'm reading. But 90s
Yeah.
Spider-Man is one of them, for sure.
I think I have more of the '90s thing with like other characters, like specifically like villains and stuff. But
You know, I used to have it with Kingpin.
yeah, the Kingpin voice in that show is fantastic.
I
Yeah.
love that actor.
When I read Electro and Rhino, I hear the show's voices.
Us just watching Jamie Foxx, and he's like, Spider-Man! This swimming animation is hilarious. I love how
Like he's collecting
like,
rhinos.
webs act exactly the same, like as if he's in air. Like you can shoot them across the water and they wrap
Yeah.
up.
It's like
How
Mario
is Spider-Man
physics, Dan.
shooting at the same speed as this boat?
It's Mario physics. Like if you shoot fireballs underwater in Mario, they move exactly the same way as they do above water.
Rhino swimming in general is just a very amusing image.
I think the first step in making a Rhino episode of a show, especially from this era, is to not put him in water.
Someone in the comments just said, "I hear Jamie Foxx when I read Electro." That's really funny.
Whoa.
These are just drawings.
What are those drawings? Yeah, that's what I was gonna say.
Like New Yorker paintings.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was trying to put my finger on what that style was. You're absolutely right.
It's like Art Deco, kind of.
Mm-hmm.
JJJ.
Why is Jameson in a military prison right now? That's crazy.
For impersonating a homeless version of himself.
That's so crazy. A homeless person that works at the Daily Bugle.
Yeah, of
And
himself.
has a suit on. Why did you put your mask on over your pajamas first?
What's even better, because he's gonna go downstairs to grab something, but he's in costume.
Just take off the costume. Is he trapped in his suit? Is that the character parallel? He and Rhino are both trapped in their respective suits?
Yeah, well, he's right behind Aunt May, and he's just talking out loud, being like, now I gotta go find the Rhino.
You guys, I take back what I said earlier about the gas mask. That should be the costume from now on. Just his pajamas over his Spider-Man suit while he's swinging around. I don't understand why Rhino lives at the zoo.
Because he's an animal.
Because no one would think of looking for him there.
No, he's not, though.
Oh my god, it is a rhinoceros. Rhino,
he's just-
I don't.
Is he just stealing giant sticks of dynamite now?
Well, he's got the ultimate weapon, a box.
I love that the U.S. military's ultimate weapon can fit in like a moving box that you can like fit in a U-Haul.
There is a fatal flaw in that design, I think.
He's going to beat the Rhino with pepper.
Okay, so what is with the fact that
Awesome!
every time Rhino is about to hit something with his horn, it glistens? Every time!
The Rhino just defeated himself by sneezing. This show is the best thing ever.
Mr. Roboto $2 Super Chat, it's never been established if the Rhino can swim, ? Well, I think we usually just avoid that as a locale with this character, right?
Arrgh.
That's great.
Spider-Man, you gotta fix your notes. The exclamation mark is slightly tilted.
That reminds me of the...
cave and goo fell from the top of the cave and trapped you there.
It reminds me of the end of Danger Diabolic, when Diabolic gets covered in gold and it gets trapped because he's like a gold man.
Because he messed with Goldfinger.
Well, then the next Rhino.
Well, that movie is
episode,
heavily inspired by
Gold
007
Rhino.
stuff too. If you've never
sure.
seen that, Dan, you should. It's great.
I should.
It's a really good movie.
I have never seen it.
And it came out the same time this show did.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Oh, cool.
68. This is 67. That was 68.
Nice.
That was amazing.
Yeah, it was.
Okay, now I'm wondering if we can top that. That was great.
You were like, oh, we can't beat that Mysterio episode.
Oh,
But
no.
this episode was great.
Oh, no, we
Did you
did.
put a Scorpion episode in here?
Yeah, that's either the last one or one of the last
Nice.
ones.
Because Scorpion is one of Austin's favorite Spider-Man villains.
Yep. The second Scorpion episode of the show is also bizarre because Scorpion grows to be 30 feet tall.
Why?
We didn't have another story to do with him, I guess.
He's not Sandman. And doesn't the show also have Sandman?
Yes. The show uses Sandman quite a bit, too. Sandman, I think, is one of the episodes, too.
Dan, I was going to make
Can I
the
pick?
point earlier that Peter Parker has such a massive widow's peak in this show, he looks like an Osborn.
He does. He just needs the cornrow stripes.
Yeah, where every time he moves his head, the lines stay the same.
Yeah.
Well,
Are
anyway,
we taking a short break?
we are. But my YouTube started playing a He-Man episode.
Oh, that's
I dropped that out. Anyway,
Oh,
guys, thanks a lot for hanging out with us. Hope you're having a good time. We are going to take a 5-minute break, and if anybody comes in and is wondering where we are, just let them know that in a few minutes we'll be back to watch whatever the next episode is.
the Peril of Parafino, our first original villain from the show.
And by original, you mean a monster that they just pulled the footage of from some other show, right? Or
I'm
did that not
sure
happen
about
with
this? This is basically like a wax museum story, though.
That is a classic 60s thing. Like, every 60s show I can think of has a wax museum episode.
Yeah,
It's weird.
This episode also starts with a villain named Red Dog Melvin. And when my one brother and I watched this episode together, we were like, "Oh yeah, Spider-Man's best villains. You got Green Goblin, Doc Ock, Mysterio, Red Dog Melvin."
Yeah, if you're wondering, that's not in the early Stan Lee run or anywhere in comics.
I remember when I created Red Dog Melvin.
And spent 20 years trying to get him his own movie.
He's in a meeting with Chris Claremont and James Cameron.
Hey, I heard you like Red Dog Melvin.
Okay, guys, 5 minutes. We'll see you in just a little bit, and then we'll watch The Peril of Parafino. I can't wait to see that character design. See you in a bit, guys.
Sounds
Yep.
good.
Oh, whoops. Are we back in live?
Nope, still waiting for Dan.
Okay, I wasn't sure if we were like broadcasting. Cool.
We are, but there's a static thumbnail right now, so...
Oh, so they can just hear us?
Yeah.
Disembodied voices?
Yep, so I wasn't going to do that, but then you started talking.
Oh. Whoops.
It's fine. I gave you no instruction.
Well, I looked down and I was like, oh, God, this episode's already playing. And then at that point I was like, well, it'd be weird if I just stopped talking. So that's on me.
Well, it's fine. We might as well just get back on camera and talk to the viewers since you've ruined everything already. So it's fine. Well, how the heck is everybody?
Yeah. Well, and how are you enjoying this, Cap?
Oh, it's lovely. It's legendary. I don't know why I never looked at this before. I should have. Clearly, I'm gonna watch through this at my earliest convenience now. Hi, Dan.
Yeah, and the
Hello.
kids probably really like this. I know, like, growing up for me, it was like, this show's awesome. Especially, like, when you're young enough that you don't really know, like, the kind of, like, poor production stuff. Where you're just like, yeah, it's Spider-Man.
Freddie will be all over this show, I think,
I think he will too.
and Mikey too. They really like the '90s show.
The 90s show is awesome.
Well,
Yeah,
anyway,
too.
let's go ahead and get back into the commentary, shall we? How many episodes do we have left, Austin?
Two-parters left, or like half episodes. Or I guess 4 half episodes, like 2 full ones with like that are
Okay.
split halfway.
Cool. So about 40 minutes of material left. So what you're telling me is we should have taken the break before the last one, but that's fine.
You can decide where the break goes. You can put it anywhere. You could have done it before the last episode, the last half episode.
That's true. I could
Show
have.
back up for 10 minutes and then that's it, folks.
Well, guys, thanks for sticking with us. Hope you're having a good time. We're going to watch a few more of these, and now, like Austin alluded to earlier, we're going to watch the first made-up character for this show, at least that we're watching. Or is this for sure like the first in the show?
No, so the very first episode is a Doc Ock episode, and then like the second half of that first episode is like Icemen from Pluto.
That's one of the ones that was on my VHS tapes as a kid.
Yeah.
Are you talking about the Doc Ock episode where he's like in the like cave
In the
base?
cave,
mountains?
yep. Yeah, it's the first episode of the show.
Yeah.
It's really funny with the like Icemen part though, because there's like a doctor named Dr. Smarter, and he's like, oh, Spider-Man, these Icemen come from the coldest planet of the universe, Pluto.
Which is even funnier now because we don't even consider that a planet anymore.
Yeah, but he's Dr. Smarter, okay?
Oh, okay. But is he really? Dan, what are you drinking?
Sierra Nevada.
Oh, I don't know what that is. Is it a beer?
Yes.
Is it Sprite? What is it?
It's Sprite and beer.
It's Sierra Nevada IPA.
IPA, okay.
It's a celebration. It's like their Christmas beer.
Cool.
So yeah, it's pretty good.
I already had a beer earlier, so I'm not doing that right now. But
Fair enough. Fair enough.
I got to get up really early tomorrow, so I didn't want to drink too much. Before we watch our next episode, let's tackle Robert Cherryman's super chat. Thanks to you. Is Scorpion going to be in the next movie trilogy? I would think so, since they haven't done that yet.
Well, they set him
hope
up
so.
at the end of Homecoming, and then they did nothing with that. So I guess we'll see.
Who knows?
My guess is
Same
that
thing with
if they ever
Shocker.
Yeah. My guess is that if they ever do Scorpion, he'll be the muscle villain because they didn't cast like a big enough actor for them to be like, oh, we can sell a movie on this actor.
Yeah, true.
And it's
And
not
that's
like them to
unfortunately-
recast and just completely reinvent, even though they could kind of get away with that if they wanted to.
Mm-hmm. But
Or just have
Scorpion's
a-
also one of those villains I think you can mix around and have like a smarter villain that kind of runs the show.
Well, and that's kind of like his first appearance, like how Jameson is like, go get Spider-Man, Mac.
Yeah,
No,
yeah,
you know what they'll
exactly.
do? They'll have Matt Gargan become Scorpion and Venom simultaneously. Like, that's who will
Oh,
get the
God.
goo from the end of Far From Home or No Way Home.
And Mac Gargan will be played by Eminem. It'll be fantastic.
Or we'll just do
And
the
you said you're
Scorpion
not good at
and
fan
Home.
casting.
Or
All right,
we'll
let's
just
go
do
and
the Scorpion from No Way Home that is literally just a giant scorpion in the sky.
Why is our Scorpion a constellation? All right, let's go and watch the next one. It's Peril of Parafino. We're back to Daily Motion again, so I apologize to anybody that it gets ads. I've gotten really lucky so far. 3 episodes, I haven't had any ads.
Yeah, I haven't had anything either. There was a point where it kind of like blipped out for a second, and I just hit like 15 seconds or whatever ahead, so I ended up just being ahead of you guys anyways.
Is it possible it's because my ad blocker is working?
Could be.
Maybe. I don't have ad blockers, so I've just been lucky.
Because folks might be using other devices that don't have ad blockers. So, like, if anybody's doing it on a phone or a tablet or something, it's possible that that's why they're getting ads. And I'm using my desktop with an ad blocker on my on Chrome, so I don't know. And then 5 minutes in, I'm gonna get one with this one. That's what'll happen. All right, here we go. Get ready to press play when I say now. Make sure you're watching the 5th episode in our list.
I
And
think so. Yeah.
Yeah.
here we go, everybody. Please press play right now. Spider-Ham. Oh, we have an intro scene.
Yes, the back half of an episode.
I figured you were going to say that. I feel like we're watching animated 60s Batman right now.
Here's our boy, Red Dog Melvin.
Oh, he's like, he reminds me of Jigsaw, but with like one scar from Punisher Warzone.
So the Netflix version of Jigsaw.
Yeah. It's weird that this guy is their wax museum villain.
Oh, well, he looks like Cletus Cassidy.
He does.
Oh, he does. Yeah, I've never had that thought, but he does.
What?
He's glistening like he's about to run into things.
That's what wax is, right? You just glisten.
Right.
Yeah.
It's really not that funny.
He I want the Carnage symbiote to show up so bad. I realize it's 1968 and that wouldn't be invented for 2 decades, but I really want it.
But don't you see, Cap? Like, Sony will make a movie that will make this movie canon with all other Spider-Man things. So then retroactively, we'll be able to put the Carnage symbiote in the show. It's all connected.
That's
Buy it all.
That's their plan later on for the 3rd movie in the Spider-Verse trilogy, is they'll do the same thing we just did, but with animated things.
60 Spider-Man has to show up at some point in a large capacity in one of those Spider-Man Spider-Verse
He's on the
movies.
poster.
He's
for
on the
new
poster,
one.
so that,
Oh,
yeah,
is he?
they're going to, yeah.
Okay.
I hope he has like 6 different like movements, and they just recycle them over and over, and they
That'd
like
be awesome.
with that.
But you'll never know because your eyes can't deal with that animation, so you can't
Yeah,
watch
no,
it, so
I-
you'll never know.
Yeah.
I've at least seen the end credits scene from the first one where he shows up.
And then you went in a coma, but it was worth it.
Yeah, because they just do the pointing meme, and I'm like the nerd that's sitting there like, oh, you got 60 Spider-Man's voice wrong.
I've heard other people complain about that. But look, Austin, if you can make fun of me for not being able to see in 3D, I can make fun of you for not being able to watch Spider-Verse.
No, that's fair.
Mr. Arvado, what if Peter Parker got bit by a radioactive scorpion?
He would be Scorpion Man.
Yeah, I mean, I think he could end up being the same character with exactly the same morality with any motif. You have got to stop crawling down walls like that! It's embarrassing.
I think one of our
It
episodes
is a
starts with
60s
doing
animated
that.
Batman episode, you guys. Everything about this is that show. The vats of wax, and there is a wax museum episode of 60s Batman where
Of course.
where Batman and Robin almost become wax statues, and it's actually one of the relatively scarier death traps where they're like
Who's the
turning.
villain in that episode?
I
Parafino.
knew you were gonna ask me that. Is that a Riddler episode? I think
I was
it's a
just
Riddler
curious.
episode. I can't remember.
True.
Robert Sherryman, $2 super chat. Dan, do you hate No Way Home?
No, I did not enjoy that movie. I thought it was really bad.
Why is Cletus Cassidy throwing wax balls at Spider-Man? You walked right into that, dude. Like, you just got wax shackles and you freaking deserve it. He got stuck to conveniently the Spider-Man one.
This guy sounds like he has a sinus infection. You've met your parents, Spider-Man.
It's my new favorite Cletus Cassidy. It's not even supposed to be him. You're gonna be a wax statue, man!
I guess this is going to be the first episode we watch where Betty's like involved with the plot.
That like crane shot, that's exactly how we would shoot this scene in 60s Batman. Your eyes got really tiny, Spider-Man. How do you know that? Oh, look, it's Frankenstein and the Wolfman.
And the Cheetah Men and Mystique, in a
Mystique
wedding gown.
And a... we both went to Mystique. And the Grim Reaper. Oh, we just started panning back the other way. It's like, in
This
case you
reminds
missed
me
all
of
the
a Scooby-Doo
references, we'll
episode.
show them to you again.
Yeah.
No, this is absolutely a Scooby-Doo episode because it's got that kind of horror-y vibe.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I kind of like the original stuff we do in this show. It's not something I'd ever want to see come back, but for like this show, I think it's really interesting.
I have to be honest with you, I expected it to be a lot more generic than it seems to be. Like, this guy
Yeah.
could have just been a Spider-Man villain. He wouldn't be a great one or anything.
His
But
web
if-
can drill through the ceiling.
But Dan, if you wanted to play a practical joke on me and say, you know, I've read more early Stanley Spider-Man than you, that guy was in one issue, I would believe you. Like, I would.
Especially in the Ditko era, there like there are a lot of like one-off like villains that like are not that memorable that didn't really come back in much capacity, like Dr. Strom, which Raimi is a huge Spider-Man nerd, so he had him in his first Spider-Man movie, which was really cool. But
Yeah, and you know what's weird about Dr. Strom? When they did that terrible, not funny parody movie, superhero movie,
Yeah.
that was just beat for beat Raimi's Spider-Man, they had a stand-in doctor character played by Brent Spiner, whose name was just Dr. Strom. They didn't even change his
That's
name.
weird.
It's the only character in that movie that they did that with. It was like Brent Spiner is playing the parody of Dr. Strom named Dr. Strom.
Strom.
that's funny.
What an embarrassment.
His head is so bizarre. This villain.
Yeah.
It looks like it's going to pop off his head at any time. Like, it doesn't fit with the rest of his body. Was that the masks of tragedy and comedy in the background? Did I see that right?
I think so, yeah. When this guy also has no neck, too, going into your head
I
thing.
think that's what I'm noticing, yeah. Cold, hot danger. I want a microwave that says, oh, he's a wax guy? I didn't see this coming. He's like a snowman. Dan, this totally could have been a Spider-Man comic.
Yes.
I figured every time they would have an original villain, it would just feel like a different, more generic show. This is really surprising to me.
No, I think you can really tell that, like, Stan Lee and Romita, like, consulted on this show. Like, they do get, even though, like, the writing is of a lesser quality, even compared to, you know, the early Stan Lee stuff, you can tell that they understand, like, Spider-Man's personality and the types of, like, stories that you should tell with this kind of a character. Oh my god.
Tom left another super chat and says, does he sound like George Takei to anyone else? Like, it's that register.
Yeah. I didn't think of that, but...
And Cletus Cassidy is portrayed by George Takei as a wax man who can be melted if the temperature is danger.
George Takei to play Carnage in Let There Be Carnage, am I right?
Sure.
It would have improved that movie.
But
Like, not that Woody Harrelson is bad, because his performance is also hilarious, but it would have been pretty funny to see George Takei play Carnage.
It would have.
Yeah, no, that would have been great.
Austin, thanks for showing us one with an original villain, because that is not what I expected.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, definitely. The two big original villains that stick out in my head when I think of the show are the two original villain episodes that I picked, so...
Oh, there's another one. Cool.
Yeah, because the other one I was conflicted between that one or the first Green Goblin episode, and ultimately I picked that one just to have another original villain episode.
Okay, this is fascinating to me, and it may not be to anybody else, but we're going to watch this next episode. Here Comes Trubble. I don't know why you spelled it wrong, but this is Here Comes Trouble. And
no, that's how it's spelled in the episode.
Oh,
that's
is it really?
Okay.
Because on YouTube they did not spell it that
Mrs.
way.
Trouble.
Anyway, so we're going to watch this one on YouTube again. And there's a logo in the corner of this video that says Fox Kids Late Night. So this show was at one point reruns syndicated on Fox Kids. I didn't know that. And I didn't know Fox Kids had a late night in the 90s either. Everything about this is fascinating to me.
When it's got like subtitles in a different language too, so it's a whole thing.
Weird. I wonder if that was... I was going to say I wonder if that was a thing in another country and not here, but I can't imagine that. Anyway.
Yeah, I don't know.
Weird. Okay, well, go ahead and click on that link if you would. It's Here Comes Trouble, and get ready to press play when I say now. We'll give everybody a minute to do that. I was real sorely remiss at not watching this earlier.
No, I'm glad you're really enjoying this show, Cap. It is great.
I also think this is the way to watch it.
Yeah. It's
Yep.
fun to watch this kind of a show, either if you're a kid or, you know, as an adult with a group of friends where you can, like, semi-roast it, you know what I mean?
Yeah, exactly.
It's a great show.
Yeah, Austin and I have really been enjoying doing these marathon things, and I'm always looking for more of this kind of material where you can, you know, get away with not knowing it and watching it for the first time while talking over it. And this is absolutely one of those kinds of shows.
Yeah.
I mean, we're preparing for some of these, but these blind watches are just really fun to do.
Yeah. No, definitely.
These episodes are so simple that even if you're not catching the dialogue, like word for word, you can still kind of understand what's going on.
Uh-huh.
I mean, I'll rewatch these at some point, but getting that, you know, doing the reaction video thing, it's fun.
Yeah, it's not like Rise of Skywalker, where like if you miss like one line, you miss 8 plot points. You know what I mean?
Does it really matter though? Like, that's one of those movies that I'd love to have somebody that hasn't seen it like watch it without the sound, and then have them try to explain it to you, and just see how close they get.
That is also a movie that would be 10 times better if Red Dog Melvin was a character in it.
You mean Wax Museum Cletus Cassidy?
We don't know.
Also, yeah.
We
Yeah,
don't know that
he could be
Frick
in
doesn't do those things, so it could be Babu Frick, you know?
I mean, hey, the one guy in my theater really liked Babu Frick, so...
Yeah, that's what I was thinking of.
Okay, everybody ready? Let's watch this episode. Get ready to press play. We're going to go ahead and do it. Here we go. Everybody, please press play right now.
Here we go, Cap, your favorite animation.
Stop crawling like that. He's just hoping nobody notices.
It's a museum of art.
That reminds me of a great line from the animated Tick show where nothing seems to be happening, and he's... that's how he sneaks.
Yeah, no, that's his, like, very commonly used sneaking animation.
The Tick's out on patrol, and he goes, man, these days nobody ever does anything big, and then you hear, like, an explosion, and there's alarms going off, and he goes, what's that, postal fraud?
I remember when Spider-Man fought Greek mythology.
I
think that's
remember
why
when
this
I
episode
created
stuck
Greek
out.
mythology.
I think that's why this episode stuck out to me so much as a kid, because like I loved Spider-Man and Greek mythology, so it was just weird seeing them kind of come together.
So he's just fighting a centaur for no reason?
So, Austin, are you going to love when Russell Crowe shows up as Zeus in Thor: Love and Thunder?
Yes, because I guarantee he like dies after one scene.
Yeah, definitely. Christian Bale will kill him.
Yeah. We
And I
gotta
mean-
introduce gods to have the God Slayers slay gods.
Of course, that's a guy that only picks good projects, especially superhero things.
Cap, did you see the picture they released? They're doing the terrible gold and blue armor from the end of Simonson's Thor run, where he has like the arm and everything.
I did see that.
Yeah, that's a thing.
So, okay, that's a choice. I also want to watch that movie with the sound off
Yeah.
when that comes out.
I agree.
Use your one eye.
This animation is like a doodle.
I was gonna say it has changed. I'm wondering if we're still in the first season or not.
This is the first season, yeah.
Is it really? Okay, that's surprising to me. Boy, Spider-Man's sure doing a lot of thinking.
I know, right?
He has some heavy things on his mind. Oh, rock! I love how he just went back in the same animation he was in before. It was like, imagine you're sitting there, and then a rock almost hits you, and you just go...
Yeah, and then the Cyclops does his same animation. It's now played 3 times.
This webbing can do anything. Nothing can break it. And it's bulletproof.
Yeah, in the show, Spider-Man's powers are kind of like Superman. Like, they do whatever the plot needs them to do. Like in the Silver Age Superman stuff.
I'm going to ask you guys a question you can't answer. Does this woman have books on her shelves? Or drawings of shelves with books?
Yeah, some of the animation in this episode is really shoddy. This is like a Mark Bagley Venom crappy miniseries background.
It would almost be better if it was just flat out yellow, not even a gradient. It's almost worse because we drew some of the books and didn't finish drawing. It made it look more like wallpaper.
Yeah.
I want that wallpaper somewhere in my house. Partial book wallpaper.
I love how Spider-Man told himself to duck.
Is this, I'm assuming, the other original villain episode you were talking about?
Yep. Yeah, it was back to back, the two ones.
Okay.
Because this was supposed to be the Green Goblin, Vulture, Electro episode, but I couldn't find it.
That's unfortunate, but this is really interesting. I'm looking at this like Dan said earlier, where you don't even have in an original villain. It's just Spider-Man versus Greek mythology.
Yeah, exactly.
That shot was really funny where he made the web shield because he spun it, and then like she shoots the arrow, and then it shows him jumping in front of it. It's just like he spun it, jumped behind the mailbox, and then jumped in front of it so that he could block the arrow. It's like, what?
So I love that. Jameson's like, oh, this the statue was stolen, and Peter grabs it. He's like, oh, Cerberus, the Greek dog.
Cerberus. How Cerberusing?
She's one woman who lives up to her name. Jameson is so sexist. I love it. Oh my god.
You know why that thing stands out? Because it's the only thing on that wall that looks like it's there.
I like how, you steal something and then you also own a store, and the thing you stole, even though it's like very unique, you keep it at the front of your store.
So it's going to be revealed that she's got some kind of like Greek weapon or something underneath her hair, right? Like that's going to come off, and she's going to have like Medusa tentacles or something.
Oh, that would have been awesome.
Oh, that doesn't have. I'm so disappointed.
No, that would have been awesome.
Hey, why is that in a box? I thought you never took that off. Was it necessary to spin around that flagpole 19 times?
Yes. Because
Yes.
it's funny on the animation.
That's why it shows up every episode.
Yeah.
This has more stock footage than an average episode of Power Rangers. It really does.
This show has a lot of stock footage.
Yeah. No, basically anytime he swings, it's like the same 3 animations.
Yep.
Oh, he just killed Cerberus.
Yeah, and that was a weird Cerebus, too, because it had like a dragon body or like a lizard body.
Mhm.
Like, it's just supposed to be a 3-headed dog. Why does it look like there's a different species connected to the dog heads? Oh, that's what that is.
Spider-Man's gonna cause the new 52.
You're not a spider any more than the Rhino is a rhino. Stop it.
But the Rhino was a rhino.
No, he wasn't. I don't care what anybody says.
I love how the chains are just like 4 links long. It's just like this chain like that long.
Yeah, how is he even tied up with it?
Yeah.
Did it just magically link it? So I don't understand.
Apparently, when you use a web, you can use it like an arm, where it's just.
Yeah, you can-
straight-
I was gonna say,
like-
he's got web fingers?
That's what Amazing Spider-Man 2 is inspired by, with the web hand.
Oh, yeah, the web hand. I forgot all about that. Oh no, we're setting the wallpaper on fire! Don't worry about it. They're not there. He just knocked that elderly woman to the floor.
It was 1960s. It was a different time, Cap. You could knock out elderly woman. Nobody cared.
I just went in a coma because of a statue man who hit me with a statue fist. There's never a dull moment with this show.
It's so good, isn't it?
And now he's got the tiny Cerebus lizard. Tom says, I think it's French Canadian. I don't know what he's talking about.
I don't know.
What's French Canadian,
He's talking
Tom?
about Austin. He's calling Austin it.
Austin, are you French Canadian? I know you're not. I know the answer to that.
I'm definitely in it, that's for sure.
Darren Root. She was probably gonna die anyway. Oh man, that was masterful. I don't know what we just watched.
There's a good episode or video on YouTube too, where it's like making fun of the censorship of like the '90s show, where it's just all the clips of the '60s show that like the '90s one could never have gotten away with, and it's just all stuff like that. That's pretty good.
Okay, so somebody in the comments a couple minutes ago was upset that our video was just us talking, and you can't actually play these things on YouTube, or you're gonna get copyright flagged or taken down. If you happen to still be watching, the way we do these is we let you know when we're gonna start watching, and we give you a link, and you can watch it with us. So we've got 2 more of these left to do, and the next one is never step on a scorpion. That's good advice. Although, I'm going to assume that this scorpion is big enough that Spider-Man couldn't, like, step on it.
I can't remember if that's the exact title or not. I think the second episode with Scorpion uses one where it's like the sting of the scorpion or something like that.
Okay. Well, we'll see in a minute. It's nice that the show gives you the episode titles in the episode. I was appreciating
No, this episode it's like the Lizard one where we take like the basic beats of the issue and adapt it.
And overly simplify it.
Yeah.
And make it about nothing at all.
Exactly.
Okay.
This one adds like a random epilogue.
Oh, strange. Okay, so everybody make sure that you're watching the right episode. Click the second to last link, the penultimate link of Austin's list there in the description. And we're back to Daily Motion with this one. So I apologize to everybody that gets ads again. Here we go. Get ready to press play when I say now. Dan, are you ready?
I am. I got through my Kenan Thompson ads, and I'm ready to go.
Austin, are you good?
Yeah, I'm glad I didn't have to see that.
Yeah, it was a Kenan Thompson Audi commercial.
Yikes.
The sacrifices you make, Dan, to be on the show. Okay, here we go. Everybody, please press play right now. Meanwhile, at the cabin in the woods. Scorpion, do you not know where you are? He's like, huh? And he's playing whack-a-mole. Oh, we did the same thing in the comics, yeah.
This guy definitely looks like a Steve Ditko character. He's got the Steve Ditko signature mustache.
Yep.
People.
I thought you were going to say he just looks like Steve Ditko. Never step on a scorpion.
No, a lot of Steve Ditko villains have that mustache where it's just like the two lines and then the part in the middle.
Yes, they do.
Peter Parker makes a lot of really inappropriate facial expressions that have nothing to do with what he's saying. So does Jameson.
You heard it here, folks. Spider-Man no more. This is where Stan Lee got the idea.
I remember when I created Spider-Man no more. Yeah, Austin, I didn't expect it to be a motif that every time he closes a door, the picture of himself moves.
Yeah.
But it really is.
Joke.
I love how much the Spider-Man talks out loud. He talks out loud as much as the 90s Spider-Man, like, talks in his head. It's awesome.
Tom says in September '08, the series appeared in Canada on Teletoon Retro. A French language dub aired on Radio Canada's something rather. But
I remember when it was
but
on
was that
Teletoon Retro.
okay? But does that explain the Fox Kids late night thing?
Yeah, I don't
Like,
know.
why
about
was
that
it
part.
Fox Kids? But yeah, thanks for the super chat, Tom. That looks cool.
At least he stopped to, stop that sign as opposed to the rocks in the last episode.
Yeah, somebody earlier was like, this Spider-Man is ruthless.
I remember this episode. This used to be one of the ones, I forget which VHS tape, but it was on one of the ones I had as a kid.
Okay, so I'm right about this, right? When he did the stupid walk crawl this time, the crab walk
They
thing,
reversed it?
they reversed it and sped it up.
Yep. Yeah, 'cause he's got to get away from Scorpion fast.
Red Davis. Now he's crawling that way backwards. He's
Where'd he
just
go?
looking through bricks. Hey, that's in the outro. Oh.
Which is why I didn't actually use them. Just ripped the web.
Oh, how's he gonna get out of this one? I think it's flawed suit design when you'd have to turn around to use your giant tail to hit things. Like when you have to turn your back to your opponent to use a weapon.
I like how Scorpion walked away while going, ah, ah.
Never step on those.
Oh.
Good!
Oh, I got an ad.
Oh no. Let me know if you need a timestamp.
I was like a 14-second one, so I'll just hit the skip 15 seconds button.
Yeah, my video completely stalled out. What timestamp do
You
you
were a
have, Jack?
smarter man than I, Austin. 429, 430.
All right, hold on. It's giving me another Lincoln ad.
Oh man, I'm sorry.
No, it's okay. I can't
Look,
afford.
we got
a Lincoln
one more
Tech
after this.
ads.
We're gonna get through this marathon. God bless America. We're gonna do
No,
it.
Capital One ad.
Son of a fish! I guess I'm doing this one all by myself, folks!
I'm back on.
Oh, okay. And with Austin, I guess.
Yeah, Scorpion's roaring.
Okay, what's the timestamp you got, Cap?
504, 505.
Scorpion, it's him you're after.
So if... Yeah, you're in the right spot.
Dramatic close-up where he's like that.
Yeah.
I don't understand Scorpion's mask. Like, if your mask can cover your mouth, but you can still talk with your mask, why not also cover your eyes? I don't... Why would you have any open space in your mask?
And we may never know.
Yeah, it's weirdly the opposite of Batman. Like, Batman has his eyes covered to his nose, and then, like, the chin is open. Scorpion is just, like, everything except for this.
Yeah. It actually kind of looks like, I mentioned this earlier, it kind of looks like the Danger Diabolic mask if he had an open mouth at the bottom.
So,
And, lines everywhere.
Scorpion in the back of a police cruiser is also a great image.
Yeah.
So what makes Scorpion one of your favorite Spider-Man villains, Austin?
That's Han's way of saying you're wrong.
No. I just for the benefit of the viewers and us as well.
No, it just
You're
goes back to
perplexed that would be anybody's favorite Spider-Man villain. I'm sorry, go ahead, Austin.
No, as a kid, I just liked the whole. He's like the arachnid that like hunts spiders. So it's like every time Spider-Man fights him, it's always like a Spider-Man's got to be like on the run, like
Yeah.
2 steps ahead of him type thing.
No, Scorpion is a cool villain.
That shot of him horrified in bed that Scorpion's gonna come after him is amazing. I just love how overly expressive he is.
Come back!
Shane! I think it's a safe bet to say that this version of New York has more pink buildings than New York ever had.
Yep.
Yep.
Everybody pronounces it Jameson.
Scorpion's face when climbing that building was really funny. He's like looking at the sky going...
It's almost as embarrassing as the crab walk.
Yeah.
Stay back!
Oh, here's Keaton Thompson again. Hello, Keenan.
Oh, I just got an ad, possibly. I'm just at a black screen.
What? What? What is he doing?
My video stalled out again.
Damn, what kind of webs were those?
The ball ones?
Yeah.
No one knows.
What times? Hold on.
Oh, did you get an ad too?
Yeah, my video.
8:40.
I had to
We're
refresh.
almost done with the episode. 8:43.
Oh, I got another ad here. It's an ad for Suffolk University. I have graduated college.
Congratulations,
Oh,
Dan. You have
the
seen
last
67% of this episode.
Yeah, it really sucks, Dan, that you got like 12 ads on this like 8-minute video.
I know, like I didn't get any in the previous episodes we did, except for like one of them. All right, so what's your timestamp?
Curse you, Disney Plus, 9:17.
Yeah, it's like 30 seconds left.
By the time you get there, the episode's
Oh,
over.
damn it!
The plot structure of this episode's really weird because it's like he stops Scorpion and then it just cuts to the prison. Scorpion gets out and then he just
does a
stops
wink
him
thing
again.
again. Yeah, it is straight up fourth wall breaking, because who does he think he's winking at? I mean, really.
He's just a winking guy.
He's a winking guy.
So, Dan, this doesn't have anything to do with anything, but I just thought of this, and I think you guys will find this amusing. My son Freddie has taken to every time he hears a curse word, just saying language, like Captain America at the beginning of Civil War, and he didn't get it from that. He got it from some song. I don't even know. But every time he hears like "damn" or something, he'll go language. And it's hilarious, and we've not gotten tired of it yet. Like, nobody's asked him to stop. It's really funny. Well, today we were watching a game show, and somebody brought up, we were watching Press Your Luck, and somebody brought up the old football player Dan Marino, and he Dan, and thought that he said damn, and he goes language. You're Dan Marino, and he goes language.
My name is a swear word. My middle name is also a swear word.
What is your middle name?
My middle name is Richard.
Yeah, I was
Oh.
gonna say it's a Richard.
Yeah.
Richard language.
Yeah, exactly.
All right, we're gonna do one more tonight, guys.
All right. The Sands of Crime.
Oh, I asked earlier if Sandman was in the show. Is this a Sandman episode?
Yes.
Yep. Yeah, it's the first Sandman episode.
Surely it must be, right?
So it looks like, at least from the first image here, the Sandman going to the high school thing in his early appearances is not what they're doing with this episode.
Yep. Yeah, this is an original plot like the Electro one was.
Well, Dan Just
Yes.
enjoy watching 67% of this episode.
I'm hoping that Keenan doesn't visit me again, because
Yeah.
I've Keenan for like a year now.
For a lifetime.
Oh, I thought you said Keaton. Like, if all the advertisement was Michael Keaton, I'd be like, well, at least it's Michael Keaton.
This time you're gonna get that new No Way Home SUV commercial.
It's this weird insurance commercial that's sponsored by No Way Home, where it's like, it's this guy who intentionally gets bit by a spider trying to get spider powers.
Yeah,
and
it's a Liberty Mutual commercial, right?
Yeah, and in case you don't understand what Spider-Man is, they felt the need to have him say superpowers from a spider bite, and then try to get bit by a spider. It's like, at the point where you have to write that dialogue, you need a new concept for your commercial.
This is
that's
what
terrible.
happens when like superheroes are the most popular thing in the world. Spider-Man is advertising insurance.
Yeah, the SUV one is like Tom Holland comes out and he tries to spin a web, and it's like the exact shot from Homecoming where there's no buildings, and then he's just walking down the street, and then Ned shows up in an SUV, and he's like, "Hey Peter, I knew you needed a ride for my Ned senses. Get in my new electric SUV."
Oh. Well, look, Dan, I had this a lot earlier with my favorite superhero, because we used to sell OnStar with Batman. Do you remember those commercials?
No, that's crazy.
When there wasn't even a Batman movie out. It was, they got their hands on an 89 car, or Batman Forever car, or something, and it was, they were actually kind of clever, but it was like Batman in his Batmobile needed OnStar.
Oh my god.
Although you say that, but at the same time, I wish there were Spider-Man No Way Home commercials where Spider-Man's swinging through New York to get the last Diet Coke, but Willem Dafoe took it.
Oh.
But it can't. But in that continuity, it can't be Diet Coke. It has to be Dr.
It's gotta
Pepper.
be Dr. Pepper.
Yeah. Anyway, let's go and watch this last episode, guys. It's Sands of Crime, and we're back on Daily Motion. Click on the final link in the list there in the description, and get ready to press play. I'm about to say now. Here we go. Everybody, please press play right now.
Now.
Thanks, Dan. I really needed help this time. Oh, it's the Goliath diamond. Mr. Freeze from The Batman is going to show up and try to steal that. Because he was all about ice.
No one can get near the Goliath diamond.
Oh, he's got his sinister eyes on. The sand is circling me. My spider sense is
Pile
going
of
on.
dirt.
I've got a daughter. That makes it okay for me to steal this diamond.
This diamond's gonna be my daughter's best friend. She's dying.
Her last wish was to have a diamond, and the Make-A-Wish Foundation was unhelpful.
It's an inside job, folks.
Sandman, how are you gonna get out now?
I like the lighting effect there. That looks nice. Sam, you're gonna have to speak up a little bit. I have no idea what you're saying. He's just like, I'm gonna steal this diamond.
I think Sandman has better like dialogue than No Way Home.
Jameson wasn't even looking at the camera. He looked at us to take a picture.
Why is his fist so large? It's the size of his head.
It's forced perspective, Dad. It's foreshortening it. No, his fist was huge.
I do like that the show has a lot of Spider-Man running from the cops. Like that's pretty like out of the ordinary for these kinds of shows,
Yeah.
superhero stuff.
That's a good point. I don't understand why he took off his mask there. Why'd you do that, Andrew Garfield? Keep your mask on. Boy, they got that right in No Way Home. Andrew Garfield just always taking off his mask for no freaking reason.
Yep. That was one of the only things I liked about that movie was the scenes where Andrew Garfield showed up. He was great. Yes, Spider-Man, you're too early.
You got half an hour to kill. Go get a hot dog. That bag in the sand is interesting. Let's hit it with a web and see what happens.
He just went all Eric Butts on this treasure.
Rin Davis, this is a very soft-spoken Sandman. I have no idea what the hell he's saying.
It'd also be too hard to draw the lines on his shirt.
Yeah! I was like, something's missing. Boy, oi, oi, oi.
The perspective in those shots was so weird. Sandman looked way too big. He brought the police.
I like how Jameson earlier was on the phone with a guy saying, "Call the police! You're on a phone!" I never get tired of listening to this Jameson talk. Like, he should just get all the dialogue.
So it's funny too in this show because Jameson is like the only real.
My God! Sorry, what?
Jameson's like the only real person of power they have. So like in the first episode, Doc Ock holds the city at ransom, but he's just on the phone with Jameson.
Like he's the mayor?
Yeah.
His mustache disappeared.
It's chocolate cake.
My tasty dessert senses are tickling. It's chocolate cake.
I think every man in the show just has a widow's peak now that I'm looking at it. Sandman, Jameson, Peter.
That's just people, man. That's just men. We all have those.
And as Jameson would say, there should only be children and men, so...
Oh, sure. And interestingly, none of the three men in this call have widow's peaks.
That's true.
Your web glue, it does everything. It's kryptonite. Like, okay, explain to me how that works. He can turn other things into sand, bring them with him, and then materialize and make it the thing it was again in the first... Okay. Are you moving, Spider-Man? Are you coming toward me or walking in place?
That's another shot
Yep.
that they reuse quite a bit.
In the first episode, they have the best usage of that, like, just ever, because it's him walking forward, but he's supposed to be walking to the side, so the background is moving left to right, but he's walking forward.
That's awesome.
Spider-Man, it's time for you to do the ball thing again. No, he's coming at you as a ball. You have to become a ball again. Do it. I guess that works too. Whatever. I'm disappointed.
Disappointed!
Get ready for the big push! Push it! push it real good.
Has to have rocks in his head.
They're trying to give Sandman, of all people, this real menacing voice, and it's not working.
Yeah. And they give him this, like, Earth motif, like, he's gonna kill Spider-Man with rocks.
Yeah! I didn't even pick up that that's what they were doing. It's gotta be rocks because he's made of sand. Okay. What's happening with his foot? Did you guys see this?
Yeah.
What? You just made a slingshot? The webbing can do frickin' anything.
Yep.
I'm sorry.
I love how there's conveniently a trough here, like, filled with water that will defeat the villain. He's melting.
He's turning into a vampire.
He just gives up, puts the diamond on the ground.
It's because he's soggy.
Soggy Sandman. Yeah, I feel like I've transformed into a different person in the last half an hour, Austin. Like, 30 minutes ago, I was wondering if Sandman was even in this show, and now I know. And then Spider-Man.
Turn into Popeye.
So is this Peter Parker? Has this Peter Parker just not figured out a way to take pictures of Spider-Man? Because that first episode we watched, there was that whole thing where it's like, well, I can't take pictures of myself, you guys.
Have you read the comic books?
And in the Electro one, he was standing behind Electro, fully in costume, taking pictures of him.
Yeah.
But Dan, I don't remember, but I thought real early he was already, like, webbing up a camera and automatically taking pictures.
Right.
It's an
That's
issue,
what I mean.
too.
I wasn't saying, have you read the comic books?
Oh, I thought you were making fun of me, where it's like, don't you remember? They did that crap in the first issue. It's like, I didn't think they did.
I was making fun of the writers of the show. Haven't you ever read the comic books?
You're ripping images directly out of them. Just read them. It's not that hard. You're adapting
great
these
characters
things.
like Parafino and Red Dog Melvin.
Tom left the super chat and just said Soggy Nelson.
Spider-Man.
Spider-Man appears in Marvel Comics magazines.
That is true. Dan's throwing up comic book related gang signs. Well, I've finally seen some of this now with you guys, which was the absolute right way to watch this. Yeah, this was immensely, endlessly entertaining.
Yeah. No, we should try to find a way to do this with the Marvel superhero show at some point.
Yeah, it'd be fun.
It's also very funny.
And again, Disney Plus has most of the other Spider-Man shows. I think it might be fun to do a blind marathon on a little bit of Amazing Friends at some point.
Oh, I have episodes to show you, people.
Do you? Okay.
Oh, yeah.
We'll do that at some point, yeah. Yeah, there's a lot of animation that I think this would be a lot of fun for. Austin's never seen very much of the 90s X-Men show, and I think some of that gets silly enough that it would be fun to blind commentary.
It does.
There's a lot of stuff, and Super Friends again, and there's so much of that. Like, we could do 2 or 3 marathons on that, and it's worth it. Trust me. Yeah. And I don't know that show super well, so like I would probably pick episodes not based on things I remember, but based on just premises that sound ridiculous.
Yeah. The only thing I know with that show is that Darkseid is in love with Wonder Woman, and he constantly shows up and tries to marry her.
Yep. And there's this really great website from the mid-2000s where a guy watched all of that show and wrote a bunch of really funny articles about all the insanity in that show. And if we did that, and he's a really funny writer, and if we ever did a marathon on that, I would read you guys some of that because it's great.
Hell yeah.
That's awesome.
Well, guys, thanks a bunch for joining us. And Dan, I'm really glad that you were able to pop in for this, and that I thought to ask you.
Thanks for having me.
Of course.
I love hanging out with you guys as always, and yeah, hopefully we can do something again soon.
We shall.
Too bad you couldn't be there for the Scorpion episode, but
I know. Apparently.
Nah, he saw some of it.
stupid Keenan Thompson.
I know.
Austin and I will be back again next Friday for some kind of live programming. Not sure what we'll do yet. And I'll see you again. The next thing I'll be doing is a Sunday night, assuming that I can find time to rewatch it. This is the plan right now anyway. I'm going to be doing a live spoiler cast for the new Matrix movie. And I don't know how long we'll go on that. We're going to come in and make some comments about it and see who wants to talk about that. And new Captain Logan show next week. And in the meantime, thanks a lot for watching, everybody. I was Captain Logan, and we had Austin, the Day Ghost. And Dan Language Torrey.
That's a me.